I wonder what you're reporting on this threat that the militia groups associated with the insurrection may descend on the city as the trial commences.
Well, I think it's an enforcement question, and it's an enforcement problem. There are laws in all 50 states against these illegal militias, which we can start just naming extremist groups. And when it comes to Minnesota, as is true in the other 49 states, those laws are just not enforced. Go ask BLM protesters what that is like as they start to arm themselves. Go ask the Black Panther Party in Kentucky what it's like for them to have to arm themselves, still be talking to the FBI on an almost daily basis, as they have been for 60 years, while white militia members, so described militia members, march past fully armed, wearing uniforms. When it comes to Minnesota, I think we keep our eye out for two groups. You have group number one, like the 3%ers, the Patriot movement, that was born out of racism because Barack Obama was black and was elected president. Those groups could come out to show force. They could come out dressed in uniforms with their long guns. They will say that they are there to protect local businesses, to help law enforcement. Well, Kyle Rittenhouse, who shot a man dead in Milwaukee last summer, a self-described militiaman, says he was there to protect local businesses too. So we can see how that gets out of control. The other groups to keep your eye out for are groups like the Boogaloo Boys. The Boogaloo Boys are pretty well known by federal authorities. They're well known in the state of Minnesota. It was last May when we saw a self-described Boogaloo Boy shoot an automatic weapon into the police station that was on fire in Minneapolis. He came from Texas. So again, the question becomes one of enforcement. Now, the FBI has stepped up in a big way since January 6th. And what you see is these groups then turning on themselves. Whenever these groups start talking about informants, and these are highly paranoid groups. When I interviewed a militia member, a self-described militia member in Kentucky, we found out later she had recorded the entire conversation. She had people filming us. This is how paranoid these groups are. When they start feeling like the group is turning on itself from the inside, when they start feeling like there are these informants talking to the FBI, they get very nervous and they start to go underground. That is happening now. The question is, and I think we all know what the answer is to the question, why didn't that happen in the last administration, Nicole?
Well, let me just follow up. I mean, are they emboldened by their success on January 6th, or are they on the run by the intensity of the FBI investigation into January 6th?
The folks that I have talked to will indicate to you that they're not on the run, but they're taking a more low-profile stance. Part of the problem here is in order to recruit, you have to be online. You have to be showing pictures of yourself standing in uniforms at these events. So I think while people are taking a minute, they're taking a beat, they're trying to figure out who inside their group they can trust, they are looking for a coming-out party. The trial could serve as a coming-out party. It has all of the elements that these groups like to take advantage of. The Boogaloo Boys, for example, their stated goal is a civil war. That is what they advertise to their members. They want to overthrow the federal government. A trial like this provides an opportunity for violence and may provide what they are looking for to sort of carry out, Nicole.
Rev, can you just pull all this together in terms of helping me understand how the protesters, how the city, how they should be protected from these forces that Cal's describing? And do you have confidence that this new administration and the FBI that's actively investigating these domestic terror groups is aware of everything that's planned for the city?
They must do everything within their means to contain these groups, to not disrupt in any way, shape, or form the protesters who have been very peaceful this weekend, today, the family, all of us that have people there on the ground have said that any violence would only hurt the chances of justice. The last thing you want in a trial is for people in a jury to feel that George Floyd was violent and therefore they had to restrain him, and they get that picture because his supporters are violent. You don't want to play into that, which means these groups that are on the other side, it is to their advantage to incite something that distorts the fact. Don't get in the way of that tape. Don't get in the way of projecting that this man did not in any way, shape, or form provoke what happened to him. And the government's job, both local as well as federal, is to make sure that those that come in with the intent to try to use this to relaunch their right-wing militia groups and relaunch this divisiveness are contained and held to the letter of the law. They know how to do it. They've done it when it's on the other side. They must do it in this occasion. Do I have faith they will? I have hope. I don't have a lot of faith.
Rev, I want to ask you one more question about hope. Do you dare to hope that justice will be served in this trial?
I always have hope. I'm always ready for the worst, but I always hope for the best. You've got to keep going and saying maybe this time it'll work. And I agree with the editorial in the Globe. America's on trial. And I would hate to think that it is taken for granted that you can hold your knee on a neck for 9 minutes and 12 people say, nothing illegal about that. They will normalize that behavior. And I refuse to believe that that's a given. I have to hope that this time we'll get it right.
The Reverend Al Sharpton, Cal Perry, thank you so much for starting us off this really important